because of the play of their defense. They lead the league in interceptions.
Well, they've started off extremely well defensively, not quite as consistent offensively, but you know, Dale, over the last couple of days, I've talked to coaches, players, media, fans, and I really can't come up with a consensus of real true favorite in this football game. The Eskimos are slightly favored because of their home field advantage, but I really think if there's one big advantage, it's a guy that Al McCann mentioned, Warren Moon.
I think you're absolutely right about that. Just take a look at Warren Moon and some of the things he's accomplished already in 1983. Every category that you see there on the screen, he leads compared to last year at this time. And I think it's most important to mention that the protection his offensive line is supplying him. Last year at this time, he had 23 sacks against them, only 12 so far this year.
And don't forget, in 1982, he had 5,000 yards in passing, more than any other pro quarterback in the history of pro football. So that is really a problem for the BC Lions defensively. But Roy DeWalt has also had an extremely good start. The quarterback that will be starting tonight for the BC Lions, he also can run with that football, Dale.
He, of course, puts a lot of pressure on a defensive unit, and the Eskimos will have to go after him. Now it's time for the national anthem.
Strong and free, from far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
The BC Lions and the Edmonton Eskimos are all set. We'll have the opening kickoff in just a moment.
You're looking at downtown Edmonton as we pull back from our camera way up in the light structure here at Commonwealth Stadium. We're all set for football action between the Eskimos and the BC Lions.
He'll watch for a very sneaky return right off the bat by the BC Lions. It seems that Don Matthews likes to pull something very early in the ball game, and we heard some discussion about a possible reverse on this kickoff.
You're looking at the head referee tonight, Ross Perrier. We'll take a look at Dave Cutler kicking off from his own 45-yard line in just a moment. With Mr. Excitement, Sammy Green is back deep, standing right underneath the goalpost for the BC Lions. The only man so far this year in the CFL to return a kick all the way for a touchdown. That was a 113-yarder. Here's Cutler's kickoff. Into the end zone to Sammy Green. Green is doing a lot of it on his own, and he brings it out across the 25 to the 28-yard line. And Dave Cutler was one of the downfield tacklers along with Stu McAndrew. 29-yard kickoff for the man who's averaging 56 yards of return.
And I think they just kicked it too deep for Sammy Green to try any reverse or anything else with that. Dave Cutler putting it in the end zone as you take a look at that initial starting offensive unit of the BC Lions.
The BC Lions receiving corps. And we notice now that Larry Jones will start in the backfield along with John Henry White as you look at Roy DeWalt, averaging 55% in passing so far in 1983. First place in scrimmage from the 29-yard line. DeWalt. Fernandez was the man he was trying to hit with the pass over his head. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Lions from their own 29. Both clubs coming into the ball game with 3 wins and 1 loss. And the Lions, of course, on a 3-game win streak after losing their opener in Toronto. Gerald Roper starting tonight at left guard. One lineup change for the BC Lions compared to their roster from a week ago.
And, of course, James Parker was the Eskimo with that initial pressure on the first down play by Roy DeWalt.
Just underway at Commonwealth Stadium, 2nd and 10 BC. Good protection for DeWalt. Nobody open. Finally, he finds Mervyn Fernandez for a first down catch out at the 42-yard line. Joe Holloman, number 29, making this stop on last year's Western Rookie of the Year.
Dale, you have to change up your offensive line blocking patterns as well as those blitzes coming in there. Watch Glenn Leonhardt, the right offensive guard, step back into the right side trying to pick up James Parker. Leonhardt's number 54, does a pretty good job of driving him deep and allowing DeWalt to roll to that right side and pick up the first down of this ball game. There's a good ISO shot of Parker coming in from the outside.
13-yard gain for Fernandez. Sammy Green takes the quick toss from DeWalt, hit immediately by 12-year veteran Larry Highbaugh at the 45. Highbaugh holds that gain to just 3 yards, 2nd down and 7. Sammy Green out of the University of Nevada at Las Vegas as you look at the Eskimos defensive lineup. No changes for the Eskimos since the 2nd game of the season.
Both of these defensive ball clubs very concerned about the running ability of the opposing quarterbacks. Here comes everybody.
Does a great job of getting out of traffic, has a first down and more. He could break it all the way. Finally cut from behind by Mike McLeod at the 25-yard line. Roy DeWalt picks up 45 yards for the Lions, but it looked like he'd lose 10.
Dale, we just mentioned about the fear of the defense, about the opposing quarterback's ability to run. Just watch this. What a great shot from our end zone camera. Just a great fake on Tom Towns right at the line of scrimmage, and DeWalt starts pointing them out. He moves the ball all the way down to the 25-yard line with great natural ability.
Well, of course, the Eskimos haven't had the ball yet, and their quarterback is capable of doing the exact same thing. First down for the Lions. Sammy Green unable to hang on to this one. Same kind of pattern he caught just 2 plays ago. It'll be 2nd and 10 for BC from their own 25. Sammy Green. Yes, Al.
If you're wondering why there was that slight pause at the start of the game, what happened is the phones from the spotters booth for British Columbia were not working. The referee had to come over and stop the Eskimos from using theirs. That's the rule, of course, until the phones are repaired. So the coaches are on their own at field level now.
All right, Al, thank you. 2nd down and 10 for BC. Here comes the
back blitz.
Pancratz. Touchdown BC. Impressive opening drive by the BC Lions. Pancratz puts it in the end zone. His 4th touchdown of the season. John Pancratz, the 4-year veteran from Simon Fraser.
If we start up just a little bit further now, you'll see Mike McLeod. Stop it right there. McLeod, the safety, number 18, coming on that blitz. They're bringing everybody the last couple of 2nd down situations. And Roy DeWalt manages to avoid the fleet safety of the Eskimos, and Pancratz, man-to-man, beats him into the end zone. A very impressive drive to start off this ball game as Roy DeWalt shows you his running and throwing abilities and puts 7 points on the board for the Lions.
BC Lions, Moses Saglia converting the touchdown. We'll have another look at it. Roy DeWalt escaping the safety blitz and finding John Pancratz just across the goal line.
It was Gary Hayes, number 28, that he beat on the play, and the BC Lions lead early in the first quarter, 7-0. We'll be back in just a moment. On that previous play, John Pancratz scored his 4th touchdown to put the BC Lions out to an early lead.
You'll watch Joe Holloman on the return as he finds some running room. You'll watch this play from way up in the lights, and Holloman comes up with a great return out to the 49-yard line. 39-yard return by Joe Holloman, used regularly now as a kick return man by the Eskimos.
Let's take one more look at that previous touchdown by John Pancratz, the leading receiver for the BC Lions going into this ball game. Just uses his great speed. Not really that bad a defense, but a perfect throw by Roy DeWalt. And a great return by Joe Holloman puts the Edmonton Eskimos all the way up to 49-yard line.
During the offseason, the day Don Matthews was named coach of the Lions, he said, that's one of the things I'm going to do is play John Pancratz a lot. And you can see why. A great inside receiver. Push down Eskimos. Warren Moon at the controls. He's off to a great start in 83. Looking for Kelly, and he just overshoots him a little bit. Kelly was in between the defenders down the far side, 2nd and 10.
Neil, we're going to try to point this out from time to time during the telecast, but the Lions are so concerned with Moon's ability not just to run with the football and gain yardage, but to move around back there enough and pick up extra time to throw the football and then dump it off. if they're going to come in on those blitzes and try to retain control of their lanes, not really go wild and try to get in there as quickly as possible, but try to contain Warren, not only from the outside, but from the inside out as well. We'll see how successful they're at doing that.
Easier said than done, right? Second down play. Into the middle, Thomas Scott, first down, Edmonton at the BC 47-yard line. Tommy Scott, who was named to the All-CFL team last year with 91 catches, picks up 13 yards, his 16th catch of this season.
Nelson Martin on defense, and that somewhat maligned offensive line of the Edmonton Eskimos did a good job of protecting Warren Moon.
Scott Stock replacing the injured Jim Germany for tonight's ball game. And Tucci's in the ball game right now, along with Lumsden. Nobody open. Moon unloads, and he just threw it short. It was a bit of an underhand pass attempted for Santucci, and he is under big pressure from Glenn Jackson.
It almost appeared that Glenn Jackson had grabbed Warren Moon's face mask for a moment, but the veteran linebacker, watch him at the bottom of your screen, was quick enough to release it. Whether or not he actually had him by the face gear, let's take a boo. I think he did for just a moment. Warren could not get that ball away, and Glenn got his hand off of there quickly enough not to get penalized. Big Mac Moore up there in front of Warren Moon made him hesitate to throw the football. Second and 10.
Looking for Kelly. He's open again. First down, Edmonton. Kelly is injured on the play as he took a solid hit from Nelson Martin after making the catch and gaining 21 yards. Kelly just getting to his feet now, leads the CFL in receptions. That was his 30th of the year.
Watch his move. Just around JoJo Heath. He just went quickly to the outside and turned it up. JoJo trying to play him too closely. Nelson Martin bumps the great receiver out of bounds at the 28-yard line, 27-yard line of the Lions.
Saw Kelly do a lot of that last week against Saskatchewan. We could be in for another Brian Kelly, and Warren Moon show tonight. First down, Eskimos. Into the middle, picked off by Larry Crawford. Crawford with his 4th interception of the year and the 12th of the year for the Lion defense. As I mentioned at the outset, they lead the league, and he returns it back 19 yards, and the BC Lions take over the football.
You know, if you talk to the BC Lions about their defensive backs, they'll tell you that Crawford will gamble more than the rest of the people back there trying to make those interceptions. He did it once again. The intended receiver, Brian Fryer, and Crawford timed it perfectly.
Lions with the lead in interceptions. They also have the #1 defense against the pass so far in 1983. First down for the Leos following Crawford's interception from their own 29. Whoa, nobody open. Down near the line of scrimmage.
We've got a penalty against the BC Lions. I believe it's holding, Dale.
That'll push them back a little bit. Dave Fennell in on the tackle for the Eskimos on that first down play.
Dale, you'll recall last week when we were here, Brian Kelly late in the game injured his knee. It was a sprained knee. Jim Germany was injured roughly the same time in that game. You may have noted that when Brian made that catch on the sidelines, he re-injured that knee a little bit. The doctors are checking it now. Brian's flexing it. It may impede him.
Edmonton, number 24.
Ed Jones called for holding, so it doesn't push the Lions back. It gives them a first down out at the 44-yard line.
One of your unusual calls, defensive holding against the veteran defensive back of the Eskimos, number 24.
Lions lead at 7-0 on a touchdown by Pankratz on their opening drive. Lions with the ball once again, thanks to an interception by Larry Crawford. John Henry White slipping outside, picks up about 3 yards before Tom Tuanay pushes him back, helped up by a number of his friends in green jerseys. It'll be second down and 7.
Still, you normally would not think that a great pass rusher is good against the run, but James Parker just does an outstanding job here. Watch him, he's number 40. He plays it both to the outside and then back to the inside. Jones tries to pick him up, and then Al Wilson tries to pick him up. He stands his ground and helps to limit that gain to 3 yards. Great football player.
Second and 7, BC. Good protection for DeWaldy. Found Pankratz. The ball goes incomplete. Pankratz took a solid hit, and the ball just popped straight up in the air, and unfortunately for the Eskimos, Kepley unable to get to it. You see Pankratz is down. Lots of protection that time for DeWalt. Here's an isolation look at Pankratz.
I couldn't tell if that was Jones or Holloman. It's Holloman, number 29. It sandwiches John Pankratz with Mike McLeod. I think it was a hit coming from the front. It really shook up the young Lion receiver.
That was Holloman who left his own man, Jacques Chapdelaine, to move over and make the hit on Pankratz.
You know, up until a week or so ago, Dale, one thing that the Lions had maybe done differently than the Edmonton Eskimos is they used a wide variety of receivers going both to their inside people as well as their outside. Edmonton had concentrated much more so on Brian Kelly and Waddell Smith, both their outside receivers.
You're absolutely right about that. Pankratz heads to the bench. It's a 7-0 ball game. Lions leading the Eskimos. We'll be back to Commonwealth Stadium in a moment. Pasaglia getting ready to punt the ball away. Unfortunately for the Lions, unable to move the ball too far after Larry Crawford intercepted Warren Moon. Only Moon's second interception of the year, and now it's 3rd down and 7. Pasaglia punting. Holloman is back deep along with Frietta. Short kick. Holloman moves up to the 22 and fumbles. Got it back at the 25. He was fortunate to get it back. Ray Waddy, who had a tryout with the Eskimos, was down there quickly. Return goes as a 4-yard run back, and it's 1st and 10 Eskimos. We'll get our second look at their offensive unit tonight.
Coach Pete Catella was asked about having his veteran corners, Joe Holloman and Larry Highball, involved in specialty teams. He said, look, we need every bit of help we can get. They've been very successful in previous years in returning kicks. We'll take our chances. We have been a very poor football club returning both kickoffs and punts.
Coming into the ball game, Frank, the Lions had 262 more yardage on kick returns than the Eskimos. Down the middle, Tom Scott pushed down Eskimos. Scott's second catch of the night. He takes the ball out to the 43-yard line for a gain of 18.
Nick Hebler is complaining from that left defensive end spot that he was held by Big Bill Stevenson. Stevenson's number 62. Watch Hebler as he tries to come in on that pass rush. He thought that Big Bill had grabbed him and was holding on to him. I think he might be right.
Edmonton Eskimos lead the CFL. As you look at their offensive line, Tom Krebs playing his second game. Eskimos lead the CFL an average gain per pass of 8.8 yards. First down, Edmonton from their 43. Brian Kelly, 50-yard line, driven down immediately by JoJo Heath, number 26, the former Argonaut. And that gain is about 7 yards. Brings up 2nd and 3 for Edmonton. Kelly, with a bit of a sore knee, is back there in the lineup. Defensively, for the BC Lions, James Curry returns to the lineup after missing last week. Rick Klassen missed most of last week's game with an ankle injury. Bernie Glier, the rover. And a very good defensive backfield. JoJo Heath injured on that last tackle. Heath with 1 fumble recovery so far for the Lions this year. Sees a little bit of action as a punt returner. Not a lot.
You know, Dale, the field's in pretty good shape considering it was, they were very worried about it. The David Bowie concert of a few days ago had some 58,000 people tramping around on it, and certainly the groundskeepers would be commended for getting the water and fertilizer on. It's back in mid-season form.
2nd and 3 for the Eskimos. The ball at their own 50. They trail 7-0. Tom Scott down the middle again, and behind the linebacker. Out of bounds at about the BC 20-yard line. Finally forced out by Joe Kuklo, who was in there as a 6th defensive back. And a gain of 39 yards for Tom Scott, who all of a sudden becomes the main man for Warren Moon tonight.
One thing about Warren Moon, he's going to pick out that open receiver. He may look outside first from time to time, but Scott's so great at coming across and making those receptions and moving with that football after he picks it up.
Tommy Scott now has 3 catches for 70 yards. Of course, he's the all-time CFL leader in 100-yard games pass receiving, 36 of them. And the Eskimos are called for taking too long. And this is happening an awful lot to the Eskimos this year. They've tried to explain it with the new terminology and everything, and people just not used to it yet. But of course, they have the 20-second clocks here, and everybody watches it count down.
Pete Catella was complaining in the local press that the officials were starting the clock too quick on them, but I don't think too many of the officials are buying that. They just had problems getting the ball off on time.
Puts the ball 5 yards back, first down, 15 to go, just outside the BC 25. Last drive of the Eskimos was snuffed out by a Larry Crawford interception. There you're looking at the 20-second clock in the south end zone. Lions come with the blitz. They set up the screen. Intercepted by Tyrone Cruz. They read it beautifully. Cruz has it out to the 50-yard line where he's tackled by the quarterback, Warren Moon. 23-yard return, and the Lions have picked off Moon twice here in the first quarter.
Boy, just what a great read by Cruz. It looked to me like he was going to come on a blitz. He saw that set up for a screen. Watch him as he moves out to the outside. They try to screen to their left. Warren Moon drops back that extra few yards. They come with everybody except Cruz, and he steps up just at the appropriate time. Angelo Santucci, the intended receiver, and watch the big fella hit Warren Moon. Pretty good tackle, though, by quarterback.
And 2 Lions are injured on the play. Nick Hebler is one player that's down. Attention being paid to his left knee. There's also another Lion injured. Here it is again. They set up the screen as the Lions are coming on the blitz, and as Frank mentioned, Cruz just hung back there.
It was Tom Krebs, number 56, the recently acquired offensive center, trying to help out there with Angelo Santucci, but just a perfect play by Cruz in terms of timing. Well, the Lions paid dearly, however, for that interception.
Jackson is the other injured Lion.
2 of the all-pro defenders for the Lions, both of them down on the same play.
Jackson was a Western All-Star in '82. Here's how he got hurt.
Let's
he was upfield trying to make a block right there.
Well, it looked like he landed on top of the Eskimo defender, but we couldn't actually tell how badly he was hurt. But Nick Hebler was coming in from that left defensive end spot, almost got to Warren Moon before he got rid of that football, and he looks by far the most serious of the 2.
The 5-year veteran out of Simon Fraser was the only BC Lion named to the All-CFL team last year. He led the team in sacks with 14 in 1982. Here's a look at the record between these 2 clubs since interlocking play began in 1961. The Lions have not won here at Commonwealth Stadium since October of 1978. They're off to a great start tonight. They lead 7-0. They've intercepted Moon twice. They have the ball now at their own 50. Sammy Green. And he is stopped at about the line of scrimmage by Dave Fennell, James Parker, Tom Towns. May have lost half a yard on the play as the Eskimos react to that play quickly.
Sammy just had to give ground a little bit too often on that one. Even David Boone, coming from that left defensive end spot, got in on the play. 4:02 remains in the first quarter. We have a 7-0 ball game with the BC Lions leading the Edmonton Eskimos.
Second down, about 10.5 yards to go for BC. Lions on a 3-game winning streak. Almost picked off by Joe Holloman, intended for Mervyn Fernandez. That brings up 3rd down, and the Lions will have to punt it away. Good coverage by Holloman on Fernandez.
Mervyn Fernandez is knocked away by Joe Holloman.
So Holloman will drop back to await the punt from Pasaglia along with Emilio Frietta. 3.5 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. Pasaglia, the all-time leading scorer for the BC Lions, has 1,062 points. Counting his convert tonight. You see the bad snap. Going to give up a safety touch. And then the BC Lions will have to kick the football away. Tom Towns chasing him back into the end zone. So it's now a 7-2 ball game in favor of the BC Lions after giving up the safety touch, and they'll have to kick it away. And we'll be back with the Lions kickoff in just a moment.
Dennis Javen, one of the SFU grads at that offensive center spot, snaps the ball well over Lou Pasaglia's head, and the Eskimos are gifted 2 points. 7-2 the ball game.
Kickoff goes to Gary Hayes. Hayes gets it out to the 41-yard line where he's pushed back quickly by Gerald Roper, number 65, helped out by Brent Brissett, number 74. 19-yard return for Gary Hayes, who was averaging, coming in the ball game, about 25 yards per return. Gary Hayes, 3-year veteran of the Eskimos.
And the victim of the only BC Lion major score tonight is John Pancratz. Beat him on man-to-man coverage.
Well, the Eskimos with the football now for the third time tonight. Their first two drives have been stopped by interceptions, one by Crawford, one by Cruz. The ball at the Edmonton 41. Neil Lumsden with his first running play of the night. He just bounced off everybody and almost has a first down.
Well, the Lions did a really good job of stacking up where that play was intended to go to the inside. But Neil made the adjustment, moved to the outside, and picks up close to 10 yards.
Gain of 9. The second down.
Lumsden has accomplished so far this season. Here's another look at it. And there's just no room at all there, Frank, as you suggested. The BC defense was there.
Fryer and Santucci both got a piece of Klassen, who has moved now to that left defensive end spot in place of the injured Nick Hebler.
Eskimos performing tonight without Jim Germany, injured late in last week's ball game. Scott Stock was added to the roster replacing Germany, but he's not in the lineup right now. Santucci and Lumsden are in that offensive backfield. Right now the Eskimos are looking at second down, a little less than a yard to go. The ball just across their own 50. Moon had only thrown one interception coming into this ball game. Santucci hit at the line, but his momentum carried him forward, I believe, enough for the first down. And a linebacker, Tyrone Cruz, who had one of those interceptions tonight, making the tackle. And referee Ross Perrier indicates first down, Edmonton. We have 2:11 remaining in the opening quarter.
Did you notice something, Dale? 2 straight running plays. How many times have we seen that so far this year?
Almost a forgotten part of football in Canada. Moon, who leads the league in touchdown passes with 9 of them, operates on 1st and 10. The blitz is coming. Looking for Kelly. Penalty marker goes down. Now, who are they going to call? Heath or Kelly? There's a lot of bumping going on downfield.
Well, I believe it's normally against the defender, and I think that's what JoJo Heath believes.
Moon is down. He got a shot just as he let that football go.
Looked like Larry Crawford coming in there from that halfback safety or halfback blitz that got Warren Moon. That's the one advantage I think the BC Lions may have on the Eskimos, and that is backup experience at the quarterbacking spot. Of course, Joe Paopao being the backup for the BC Lions. Matt Dunnigan, the rookie, would be coming in there for the Eskimos should Warren go down.
Offensive pass interference, Edmonton number 70.
Brian Kelly called for the interference. Again, an unusual call. We've seen a couple. Defensive holding and offensive pass interference. A break for the BC Lions.
It just appeared when Moon threw that ball, there was a little too much bumping going on downfield for it just to be a defensive penalty.
Brian trying to use all the tricks in the trade.
And he's got a few of them. He winds up wide to the left side on first down over again for the Eskimos. 20 yards to go, back at their own 42. Looking for Fryer. He's got him at the BC 52-yard line. Dropped by Bird. And he gain of about 16 yards on the play. It'll be second down for Edmonton. Minute left to go in the opening quarter, and the Eskimos have moved back into BC territory.
The 1st and 10 Edmonton.
Fryer, the only other player tonight besides Kelly and Scott to catch a pass for Warren Moon. Second down and about 4. For Waddell Smith, his first catch of the night. First down, Edmonton.
He dropped the football.
Did he drop it? Let's take another look. I thought Waddell had that one. So used to seeing him just make that catch.
Well, the last 2 ball games have just been great for Waddell Smith, but this just comes right out of his hands. Warren hits him right in the numbers. A little high for the numbers, but he dropped the football. This will be the first time the Eskimos have had to punt the football away with just 40 seconds remaining. 3 possessions. They've been intercepted twice, and now are kicking it away.
JoJo Heath, Larry Crawford back deep near their goal line, awaiting the punt from the rookie Paul Hickey, and it's a beauty. Way back in the end zone goes Crawford, and he'll have to give up a single point. It's a 63-yard single by Paul Hickey, who at times just hammers that football. With 11 seconds to go in the opening quarter, the Eskimos have now cut the BC lead to 4. Paul Hickey from the University of Saskatchewan, drafted by the Eskimos in the 6th round this year, averaging 45.5 yards coming into the game. So now the Lions take over at their own 35. Only touchdown so far in this ball game scored by John Pankratz. That was on the opening drive by the Lions. This is John Henry White out to the 40-yard line. A gain of 5. That is the end of the opening quarter here at Commonwealth Stadium. And the BC Lions will have the football to start action in the second quarter. And you see the score. The Lions lead at 7-3 over the Eskimos. We'll be back with the second quarter in a moment. We're back at Commonwealth Stadium for the second quarter. Lions second down and 5. DeWald looks for Fernandez. He's got him, and he has a first down. Tackled quickly by Larry Highbaugh out at the 46-yard line. First and 10 BC.
You know, Dale, one of the things that's really hurt the Eskimos early in that first quarter was their blitzes. They got burned on a running play, and they also got by DeWalt, and they also got burned for that touchdown. And, you know, Gary Hayes comes from that halfback spot. They got all kinds of ways to blitz him.
Look at the statistics after the first quarter of play. Eskimos with more total yards, but of course they trail 7-2. As his man at the midfield stripe, John Pankratz making the catch in front of Gary Hayes, who moved up quickly and tried to break up the play, and it's a gain of close to 9 yards.
Gary just backing up, and a little hook pass in front of him by Pankratz. Not much you can do to stop that. Second and very short yardage for the Lions.
Gain of 9. It was the second and 1 BC. Ball right
Nick Kepler out of the ball game right now. Of course, he has been used in short yardage situations on offense by the Lions, so they'll miss him there too, as well as at his regular spot.
We'll have to get a report from Al McCann on Nick, because it appeared to me that it was his left knee. Certainly hope it's not serious.
Second-year man Ryan Potter, number 33, lining up in that slot in place of Kepler on short yardage. And John Henry White has lots for the first down. He takes it into Eskimo territory to about the 48-yard line. Stopped by Ed Jones, the defensive halfback, number 24. See all the receivers for the Lions come back on into the play.
It's first
down. Early in the second quarter. The Eskimo bench. Fernandez makes the catch. He bobbled it once, then hung on. Makes a good move to get a few more yards. Mike McLeod didn't get shook loose at all, but he managed to bring him down at the 41-yard line. A gain of close to 7 yards.
Gain of 6. It'll be second down and 4.
Fernandez out of San Jose State, second-year man. His total so far tonight. Second down. They give him a 6-yard gain on the play. Over the middle, Sammy Green will be close to another first down, and he's stopped immediately by the safety, Mike McLeod.
You could see the Edmonton Eskimos coming up in man-to-man defense, and if we take a look at this, we started up right now. You'll see Mike McLeod, stop it right there. You'll see Mike McLeod coming up from his safety position, and Green trying to run that little pattern over the inside middle. McLeod is right with him. Good job by the veteran safety. Green, number 35, Mr. Excitement for 1983 for the BC Lions. Been cut by 8 pro football teams prior to landing with the Lions. Just 23 years old.
Boy, DeWalt's completed 4 in a row now. He's going to go for 6. Fernandez, touchdown. What a beautiful play. DeWalt for Fernandez. second touchdown pass of the night.
If there was a little bit of concern about that Eskimo defense, it's a possibility that their speed really isn't there quite as same as it used to be, and that's a good example of maybe that concern coming true. Herman Fernandez just outrunning the 8-year veteran Joe Holloman at that corner spot, and the BC Lions put on their second major of this afternoon, and it's a 37-yard TD to Merlin Fernandez.
Beautiful throw by Roy DeWalt. He now has 8 touchdown passes on the season. Pasaglia converts it, and the Lions lead the Edmonton Eskimos 14-3. We'll be back to Commonwealth in just a moment.
All day.
Chevrolet's taking charge. Taking charge with Chevrolet's famous value in an aerodynamic family-size car. The front-wheel drive Celebrity. It gives you 98 cubic feet of room, more than Ford LTD, Mercury Marquis, and Chrysler LeBaron.
Well, the good news is the scoreboard, certainly for BC. The bad news, Nick Hebler, injured knee, great defensive end. Nick, did you know what happened on the play?
Well, no one hit me. I just planted on my foot, and I was off balance, and I put off Warren Moon, and something gave in my leg, and I just heard it pop, and they think it's only a cartilage, though, so that's good news.
Well, I certainly hope that you can get back soon. You're off to a great start.
Thank you very much, man.
Nick Hebler.
Last week, the Lions had to operate just about the entire game without right defensive end Rick Klassen. Tonight, it's Nick Hebler, the left defensive end, forced out of action early. Brent Brissett is in there now. Eskimos 1st and 10. The give is to Lumsden up the middle. Gets out across the 20. 21, 22-yard line. Short gain in the play, 2 or 3 yards. 2nd down. Head coach Don Matthews of the BC Lions in his rookie season with BC after 6 years as the defensive coordinator of the Edmonton Eskimos. Talking with Joe Pow. Matthews and his team came in here in preseason and beat the Eskimos 52-20.
Bill, I asked Matthews whether or not coming back to Commonwealth Stadium was a big event for him or anything. He says, absolutely not. It's just another 2 points as far as he's concerned.
Brian Fryer makes a great catch out across the 35.
I don't really believe that, but he did make the point that the biggest football game of the year, once you get in the playoffs, is the Western Final.
Exactly.
They hope to be here or have these people out to BC place for that one. I think Winnipeg Blue Bombers would object to that early prediction, though.
Another look at a fine catch by Brian Fryer, giving the Eskimos a 1st down. The Blue Bombers, by the way, who also have a 3-1 record, are at home tomorrow night against Toronto.
And then next Saturday night, they come to BC Place in Vancouver. I'm sure there'll be a great crowd for that one.
Oh, and looking for Fryer, intercepted again. Larry Crawford with his 2nd interception of the night, and he now leads the CFL in interceptions with 5.
And he's got 4 of them in the last 2 football games.
22-yard return. Warren Moon picked off 3 times. 2 of them by that man right in the middle of your picture, number 28, Larry Crawford from Iowa State, 3-year veteran.
We talked about Crawford being more of a gambling defensive back than maybe some of the other BC Lions, but boy, he's just timed his moves perfectly against Warren Moon in this 1st half. Warren Moon, who had been intercepted very few times during the course of 1983, once again intended for Fryer.
Back to live action. Fernandez again. Incomplete. Mike McLeod was back there defending against Fernandez along with Joe Holloman, and Fernandez was in between them. The ball just wasn't where it should have been, really.
Yeah, when we were into commercial, I overheard Fernandez through one of our microphones downstairs saying to DeWalt, I can beat that guy all day. I think maybe the Eskimos heard it too, because they gave Holloman some help with Mike McLeod on the inside, and good defensive effort by the Eskimos. He did have Holloman beat once again, though.
He did. But wouldn't have been for McLeod moving over from that safety spot. He would have had another 6. This time, Fernandez is sent wide to the left. He'll go against Larry Highball this time. 2nd and 10 BC from the 23 of Edmonton. Then with the safety blitz, the Lions pick it up beautifully. Sammy Green has another touchdown. What a show the BC Lions are putting on here in Edmonton. A 23-yard score.
Well, they go triple right formation this time, trying to offset that big blitz by the Edmonton Eskimos and get man-to-man coverage. They get it as Ed Jones is victimized this time by Sam, and He just manages to hold on to the football.
Not how you do it, it's just do it.
What a start he's got for the BC Lions.
You're looking at Bisaglia once more.
Whoa.
Converts the third touchdown of this first half for the BC Lions as they jump in front of the hometown Edmonton Eskimos by 18 points. Sammy Green had that one. We'll be back in just a moment.
No problem.
From that low angle camera, you can see DeWalt getting a lot of time to throw the football, and Sammy Green, man-to-man against Jones, he beat him. Let's go to Al McCann.
Well, I've got Sammy Green, Frank. Sammy, outstanding touchdown. Your speed tonight of your outside guys, and I'll tell you, you're beating them one-on-one when they go man-on-man with you.
Yes, they're blitzing a lot, and they're leaving the wide receivers open. And we're always throwing quick passes to us, so all we have to do is just get open and let the offense hold them, and Roy just throws the ball right on time. We're just going to try to get a lot of points real quick, so in the second half, we can just mellow out and just attack them with all we got.
Way to go, Sam.
And no problem, no problem.
Okay,
start this picture up. Start it up right now. You'll see McLeod come into the string. Stop it there. There's your safety of the Edmonton Eskimos. No help for the defensive backs. Man-to-man coverage. Edmonton is getting beat.
Eskimos have the ball, 1st and 10 from their own 25. Moon over the middle, went right through the arms of Brian Pryor, and the Lions almost had another interception. They've got 3 of them already. Larry Crawford was in position again. He just couldn't grab hold of it.
Larry's made 2 clean interceptions. This time he almost gets a ricochet. Very well thrown football by Warren Moon. Crawford really didn't have that much of a chance to make that interception.
Warren Moon, 2nd and 10 Eskimos. Had only been intercepted once in his first 4 ball games. Lions have 3 already here in the first half. Brian Kelly coming back towards the football, makes the catch, steps out of bounds, has a first down at the 37.
Lions going with a pretty standard rush against Warren Moon. He's got some time to throw that football, but the Lions do not want to gamble as much defensively, particularly now that they've got a 21-3 lead. And, of course, Nick Ebler, their best rusher, out of the football game with an injured left leg.
First down Edmonton from their own 37. Just over 8 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Kelly, he almost came back and made a good catch at about the line, 51-yard line. There's a penalty marker in the offensive backfield. Looks like this one may go against the Eskimos.
Appear to be holding against the Eskimos. That's the kind of catch that Bryant's been making routinely all during 1983. It would have went for naught, however.
Holding. Edmonton, number 32. Decline, 2nd down.
Neil Lumsden, fullback of the Eskimos, called for holding. The Lions, of course, decline the penalty. It's 2nd down and 10. The ball is at the Edmonton 37. 21-3 in favor of the BC Lions. Touchdowns tonight by Pankratz, Fernandez, and Green. All on passes from Roy DeWalt. He's now tied Warren Moon for TD passes this year with 9 each. Angelo Santucci, nowhere to go. Tyrone Cruz, who has an interception tonight as well, forces Santucci out right at the 35 for a loss of 2. The Lions are just playing superbly tonight.
Well, certainly Tyrone Cruz, that middle linebacking spot, has had a great first half as well. 1 interception and just playing outstanding heads-up football. Warren Moon having his problems now as the Lions are trying to contain the great quarterback and doing a pretty good job at this point. Paul Hickey, a 63-yard single already in this ball game.
JoJo Heath and Crawford are the deep men. Nice high kick from Paul Hickey. Moving under it, Crawford, and the Eskimos got too close to him. Leo Blanchard, the first man downfield, number 59, and another penalty flag flies. Eskimos may be charged with 2 penalties here. The initial one looked like they were inside the 5 yards.
I think they're going to have a no yards penalty and possibly a rough play. Yes, you can see it right there.
Grabbing the face mask. Crawford is the man that's down.
I think Blanchard, number 59, the offensive guard, was guilty of both infractions.
Another look at it. There's the first penalty flag flying into your picture, and Blanchard grabbing a hold of the face mask right there. 2 penalties against the Eskimos, and that'll move the ball from about the BC 31 all the way to the Edmonton 49-yard line. There's the score. We'll be back in just a moment. Injured on that punt return, and the Eskimos got a face masking call and no yards out of it. Looked like Crawford may have possibly been scratched around the eye area. Anyway, the BC Lions first down at the Edmonton 49-yard line. It's been all BC so far. They lead it 21-3. Penalty flags fly. Parker chasing DeWalt. He gets rid of it. Intended for John Henry White. And the linebacker, Dale Potter, moved up quickly to cover on White as Parker got to DeWalt just as he delivered the football.
You saw that great pressure by James Parker. I thought he jumped offside. Watch him come up here. He does go to the outside and do a good job of containing DeWalt, but I thought he jumped offside.
That looks like that's going to be the call against the Edmonton Eskimos. That'll move it 5 yards closer to the Eskimo end zone, to the 44. First down over again, 5 yards to go.
Offside, Edmonton, number 40.
That was it. James Parker. He saw him jump across the line of scrimmage.
Well, that's 3 consecutive penalties against the Eskimos, moving the ball inside of their 45-yard line.
That's 35 yards worth of real estate. Donnie Taylor looked like it was going to be stopped in the backfield, and he got out of there, and he looks like he's got enough for a first down. He's about the 38-yard line, 37.
I'll show you how a block by an offensive lineman misfires, and the back does make such a great adjustment, it didn't matter. Watch Al Wilson. He's number 52, the offensive center. He'll come out here trying to pick up James Parker. Donnie Taylor sees the block missed and goes to the outside. A great adjustment by the young Canadian back. Watch Wilson. See, he actually missed Parker.
First down, BC. The ball at the Edmonton 37. Taylor is wide open. Still on his feet and has a first down. Ed Jones kind of threw a block at him, but didn't knock him off his feet. Picks up 12 yards. Donnie Taylor, of course, seeing a lot of action this year for the BC Lions. 6-year veteran of the Central Iowa. Of course, used to be the backup running back when Larry Key was in that lineup alongside of John Henry White.
Does a good job of staying on his feet. A pretty low center of gravity, though, Dale. He can do that relatively easy. Moves the ball down to inside the 25.
Big rush into Walt, screens it in the middle. John Henry White slips a tackle. He might score. Touchdown, BC. 25 yards. Just another ball game, right, Coach Matthews? He's loving every minute of this one.
Oh, is that ever true? What a great play. You saw the Eskimos coming in there with great penetration, and Roy DeWalt picked it up very quickly. Bunnell in there extremely quick. It was Tom Towns, I believe, or Potter that White got away from, number 30, not number 20, and White, with his great running ability, puts it in the end zone once again. The Lions are pouring it to the defending Grey Cup champions. It's 28-3 as Luke Bisaglia kicks the extra point. 5:13 still remaining in this first half. The Lions have scored 4 major touchdowns. Watch John Henry White at the top of your screen, number 20. This slips away, just gets away from Potter, Dale Potter's hold, and makes a great move to the inside to put it in the end zone.
Ed Jones, he made the move on. Jones, of course, as you saw, lost his footing, slid out of the play, and John Henry White put it in the end zone. His 5th touchdown of the year. And the first one that he scored this year via passing. Another look at it as they let the rush come in on top of the wall, and he center screens it to White.
Well, that was a great move, wasn't it, by White?
He did the rest all on his own after he made the catch. 6-year veteran out of Louisiana Tech, and the Lions have had it all going their way in this first half. They lead it by 25 points. Joe Holloman on the return. And he is not going very far at all. As quickly downfield was Joe Kuklo, number 11, making the tackle on Holloman after a 16-yard return. And the Eskimos will have to start at their own 18. What a show the BC Lions are putting on tonight. They opened the season with a loss in Toronto, but since then they've won 3 in a row, beating Saskatchewan, Hamilton, and Calgary. And look at the lead they have on the Eskimos with 5 minutes remaining until halftime. See what Warren Moon can do now. He's been intercepted 3 times. This time the pass goes incomplete. He tried to drill it into Brian Fryer, covered closely by Larry Crawford. Coming into tonight's ball game, 3 teams were tied for top spot in the Western Division of the Canadian Football League. We're seeing 2 of them in action tonight, the Eskimos and the Lions. Tomorrow night, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will play host to the Eastern Division leading Toronto Argonauts. The rest of the Western Division standings, you'll see that there's a key game coming up Sunday in Saskatchewan as the Riders will host Calgary. 2nd and 10 for the Eskimos. Rush from Konar, Moon unloads, intercepted by Cruz. The ball is loose, and the Lions have got it. It's an interception and a fumble, but the Lions have possession. Their 4th interception of the night. 2 by Crawford, 2 by Cruz.
I'll tell you, that Cruz looks like he was a basketball player or something. He goes up in the air, makes a great interception, and has the foresight to try and lateral the ball off. That really wasn't a fumble. He just didn't get the ball to one of his buddies, but he put it up in the air. That was Bird, I believe, that almost got the football. Parker winds up with it, but possession for the Lions once again at the 43-yard line, and Kev Konar put it to Warren Moon after he released the football.
The Lions have it back again after their 4th interception off Warren Moon. First down, the Edmonton 43. DeWalt gets outside where he's extremely dangerous, and Sammy Green high steps it out of bounds, close to a first down. Boy, when things are going right, they're going right, aren't they?
Now, I know that Sammy Green is with his 9th professional football team at age 23. I do not know how good a hurler he was in his younger days, but he looked great that time. He's done that a couple of times in earlier games for the BC Lions. We just hope he doesn't do it too many times. It's a very tough, easy way to get hurt.
Look at Nick Hebler on the bench with his left knee wrapped up. Sammy Green, of course, out of the University of Las Vegas. And you know, there's 4 BC Lion coaches that at one time were at the University of Nevada in Las Vegas, and he credits them with having the faith in him after being cut by so many teams.
Well, he has that great natural ability. He is known as somewhat of a flake, whatever that means, and I think that's what he credits a lot of the coaches for getting rid of him. They just didn't give him a chance to play enough.
What a first half for Roy DeWalt. 4 major scores. 2nd down in a little bit. Donnie Taylor. Looks like he's got enough for the first down. And we have 3:35 remaining in the first half. Lions with the football. They lead 28-3. Touchdowns by Pankratz, Fernandez, Green, and White, all on passes from DeWalt. As he takes over the CFL lead in touchdown passes, he now has 10 of them. First down for the Lions. A little slow getting up. Dave Fennell, the veteran nose guard of the Eskimos. But he stays in that lineup. Looking for Jacques Delane, the BC Lions' #1 draft choice this year, number 71. Walt's pass a little bit over his head. That brings up 2nd and 10 for BC at the Edmonton 32-yard line. We'll be back with their 2nd down play in just a moment. Well, we're back live at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, where it's been all BC Lions. They have 4 interceptions tonight against Warren Moon. They put the ball in the Eskimo end zone 4 times. They lead it 28-3. To give you an indication how one-sided it's been, the ball hasn't been scrimmaged on the BC side of the field since the last play of the opening quarter. And we have 2:58 remaining until halftime. A crowd of 56,000 here in Edmonton. And, of course, they are not pleased with the way things have been going. And there was a few boo birds after that 4th interception against Moon. BC, of course, doesn't have a wide edge in total offensive stats simply because they haven't had to move the ball that far with turnovers and with the penalties.
Of course, they also, statistically, Dale, they lost 50 yards on that snap over Lou Pasaglia's head, or they'd have close to 250 yards, which is not a bad halftime yardage total.
You know, Dale, if my memory serves me correctly, Warren had only been intercepted once prior to this game.
That's exactly right, in Ottawa.
That triple formation to the right side by the Lions once again. They've scored 2 majors with it.
Rolling to his right is DeWalt on second down. Has lots of time. He's intercepted for the first time tonight by Dan Kepley. Well, now they have something to cheer about in Edmonton as the Eskimo defense comes up big. And the man in the middle does it for him. Number 42, Dan Kepley. He just makes a great defensive play.
Bill, that's really amazing because at the commercial break, Fred Fleming, our ISO director, and I were discussing through the intercom that we really hadn't seen much of Dan Kepley in this ball game. All of a sudden, he makes a great one-handed interception on a ball that really wasn't badly thrown by Roy DeWalt. Look at that.
Like a magnet. Hold that football down, and the Eskimos have got it, and will try to move it now. 1st and 10 from their own 24.5-yard line. Tom Scott is open. 30-yard line, a gain of about 5 yards on the play. Glenn Jackson in on the tackle for the Lions, along with Crawford. 2nd down for the Eskimos. Nearly 5 yards to go with 2.5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Tom Scott tonight has caught 4 for 76 yards. Looking for Kelly. He's got him wide open. Penalty marker down. Kelly. Touchdown Edmonton. But there is a penalty flag down.
Holding against the Eskimos.
They'll wipe out an 80-yard score because of holding. The fans here just can't believe it.
Penalties have absolutely killed the Eskimos in this second quarter. 3 consecutive penalties on the last drive for the BC Lions set them up in great scoring position. Now an 80-yard touchdown strike from Warren Moon to Brian Kelly goes for naught. You talk about a long foul ball.
Boom. Edmonton, number 56.
I think he called 56 Tom Krebs for holding. Wiping out an 80-yard play.
There's Tom Krebs right in front of you. You can see he has grabbed Mac Moore with his left hand. Excellent call by the officials. Unfortunate for the Eskimos, but Tom Krebs was holding Mac Moore.
Who said he doesn't have any speed?
Watch Waddell Smith come up and catch up with JoJo Heath and make the block. We're going to run that back for you when we get a moment. Show you that hold by Tom Krebs, who you're looking at right there.
Instead of a touchdown, the Eskimos are 2nd and 15 from their own 20. Moon going to Scott. Oh, just tipped away by Melvin Bird, number 10. And it's 3rd down Edmonton. Tommy Scott is incensed over something. A late hit. Penalty marker comes down against the Eskimos for talking.
A lot of complaints, particularly right here. Watch Tom Krebs. Now, that's Mac Moore, number 78. And there isn't any question that Krebs grabs him with his left hand. You can see that left arm on, maybe it was Curry, James Curry, number 55, who he was holding.
Another penalty.
Objectionable conduct, 63, Edmonton.
Tech Pache, the veteran offensive tackle, had something, a lot to say to the official. They were looking for a late hit on Tommy Scott after the ball had been knocked down. They double teamed him. Nelson Martin was one of the players that hit him, and Pete Catella, a little concerned now. You don't see this happen, Frank, to an Eskimo football team, as a rule.
Certainly not over the last 5 or 6 years. They never lost their poise. Not a great kick either.
JoJo Heath to the 45-yard line. The BC Lions have a minute 57 on the clock, and they're in Eskimo territory again. You see the lead that they have built up on 4 touchdown passes by Roy DeWalt. the rookie head coach of the Eskimos, showing a lot of concern here in the opening half, as everything has gone BC's way.
They've got time to put some more points on the board, too. There's 1:57 remaining in this first half. Bluebirds coming out against the officials and the Lions here at Commonwealth Stadium.
DeWalt looking for Green. He's got him. Dale Potter has Green at the Edmonton 37. That's a gain of 8 yards on the play. Second down and 2.
I'll tell you, that was one fine throw. Green was not that wide open. Walt put it right in there for him.
Green hits the bench now on 2nd and 3. The Lions send in extra blocking now. Must remember defensively for the Lions, Nick Hevler left the ball game early with a knee injury. A holding penalty on an 80-yard touchdown play by Brian Kelly, which might have turned things around a little bit for Edmonton, but right now they're still in a hole. John Henry White with lots of blocking around the left side has the first down at the 30-yard line. Or the Lions got out there in a hurry to open it up for them. We have 1:37 remaining.
Dan Kepley coming from inside out that middle linebacking spot, and the Lions do a great job on the veteran middle linebacker. Johnny Taylor, number 19, just bowls him right over, easily picking up the first down. 1:37 remaining now.
Walt getting that ball away quickly, finds Fernandez, and he goes out of bounds with it at the 19-yard line. He should have enough for another BC first down. DeWalt is getting rid of the ball so quickly now that the Eskimo rush really doesn't have a chance to get close to him.
Well, the defensive backs have been burnt so badly. Look how far Ed Jones is away from Fernandez. Holloman as well. That's the only 2 defensive backs on that side. You know, they run those little square out patterns at 8 or 10 yards now, and there's nobody near them.
The ball just inside the Eskimo 20, first down BC. Into the end zone, Fernandez knocked away by Joe Holloman. He had to hold up for the football, and it gave Holloman a chance to get back into the play because he had him beat initially.
Actually, he was looking for Sammy Green coming underneath that formation and only went to Fernandez as a second choice. Did not put a lot on this football, and Holloman had a chance to recover. Fernandez, if he'd have led Fernandez, put that ball out in front of him, it would have been another 6.
DeWalt has certainly spread the scoring around tonight. He's tossed 4 touchdown passes. Pankratz, Fernandez, Green, and White all on the receiving end. 2nd and 10 BC. Again, penalty markers down. James Parker may have jumped too soon. DeWalt in trouble, just goes down with the football back at the 22 where he's pinned to Tom Tuine.
I think Parker did jump a little quickly again.
Boy, penalties have hurt the Eskimos here in the first, and it is offside against Edmonton.
You know, I think he was reacting to John Henry White, who had come up there. Here's John Henry, number 20. There's Parker, and he jumps offside once again. Lions.
Offside, Edmonton, number 40.
Lions getting everything going their way in the first 30 minutes. They still have 1:21, 2nd and 5 now at the Eskimo 15-yard line.
Eskimos appearing frustrated at this point. Everything they've done tonight has turned out bad for them. They're down 28-3. Fernandez, first down. At the 6-yard line, he's stopped by Larry Highbaugh. First and goal, BC, and they could really put this one almost out of reach here with 1:16 to go until halftime.
Bill, you know, one thing that Don Matthews knows, having been with the Edmonton Eskimos for years and years before becoming the coach of the BC Lions, Larry Highbaugh will lay off of those receivers more so than almost any of the other backs. When they want that first down yardage, that's where they're throwing that little hook pass to Fernandez.
See Highbaugh make the tackle, but it's first and goal for the Lions at the 6-yard line. Everybody in
that pitch again.
John Henry White is into the end zone as the Lions do a superb job again of blocking down, and they just increase their lead over the Edmonton Eskimos with less than a minute to go to halftime. Second touchdown of the night for John Henry White.
That pitch was so wide open on second and short yardage before. They just had to go back to it. You know, it used to be that John Henry White was the blocker for Larry Key. No longer. Now he's got Donnie Taylor in there at the halfback spot. He and Glenn Leonhardt come and kick to the outside. John Henry White just cuts up inside of them, scores easily.
Saglia converting White's second touchdown of the evening. He leads the CFL now with 6 of them.
I should give credit where credit is due. That was Gerald Roper, not Leonhardt, coming out there from that offensive guard spot. Roper, number 65.
Can you believe it? A 32-point lead for the Lions with 57 seconds left until halftime. The defense has done its part with 4 interceptions, and the offense has just taken advantage on every opportunity. You see it again. The deep pitch to White. He just looks for the opening, and he quickly turns it upfield and puts it in the end zone.
Great cutback.
Assistant coach Steve Barato congratulating John Henry White. The Lions have picked up 12 first downs in this first quarter alone. The Eskimos have 2. Kickoff. Gary Hayes on the return. Hayes brings it out across the 40, and the ball is loose. The Lions have it again. Whoa, do you believe what's happening at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton?
It's just unbelievable. One of the tacklers was slipping off of Gary Hayes, and as he went down, pulled the ball loose.
I know I mentioned that the Lions won here in preseason 52-20, but nobody expected anything like this.
Oh, unreal. 48 seconds remaining now. The Lions have the ball back at the 45-yard line. It looked like Bird, or Nelson Martin, I should say, number 4, who stripped the football away from Gary Hayes. Watch it as he comes in from Hayes' left side.
I think Kerry Parker gets the fumble for the Lions.
Yeah.
Number 17.
John Henry with the football again.
We get back to live action. He takes it right up the middle, and the handoff from Roy DeWalt. His first down at the 45. It'll be second down and about 2 yards to go from the 37. Still 43 seconds remaining until the half. The look on David Boone's face as you look at Kerry Parker, who got the ball for the Lions after Gary Hayes fumbled. 5 turnovers, 4 interceptions, and 1 fumble. Second down and a long 2. Donnie Taylor had a little dancing around in there and picked up a couple yards right at the 35. He'll be a bit short of the first down.
Worse yet, they have to use another play to pick up a first down. Just 25 seconds remain now in this first half. I'm sure the Eskimos just want to get into the safety of their locker room right now.
Wondering what has happened tonight. James Curry, Mac Moore, defensive tackles of the Lions, enjoying every minute of it. DeWalt just in behind the veteran center. Al Wilson picks up the first down with 9 seconds to go.
I'm sure Lou Pasaglia will come in now and try to add 3 points to this total. 35-3, the BC Lions lead the Edmonton Eskimos. 9 seconds remaining in the first half. And please stay tuned for halftime. Anybody who joined us late, you've missed a fantastic first half by that gentleman, Roy DeWalt.
But of course, they are playing the Edmonton Eskimos, and we saw a few moments ago how quickly they can strike. An 80-yard score by Kelly. Unfortunately for them, it was wiped out by a holding call, but they are very capable of putting points on the board as quickly as anybody. See if they can regroup at halftime. Roy DeWalt, sensational first half. 4 touchdown passes. John Henry White also has 1 on the ground as well as on the receiving end of 1. 5 majors for BC. Lou Pasaglia is on the field, and he'll be trying a 3-pointer from about 41 yards out, which is within his range. His longest this year has been 49. Timeout has been called with 9 seconds remaining in the opening half. It's an incredible show by the BC Lions tonight. John Pankratz will do the holding for him right at the 41. Straight away. Not one of his better kicks, and it goes wide to the left and through the end zone. It's about the only thing that hasn't worked right for the Lions tonight. So it's a 36-3 ball game in favor of BC with 3 seconds left, and the Eskimo offense will come onto the field to finish off this first half. 33-point lead for BC. They haven't won here in Edmonton since October of 1978. They came into tonight's ball game on a 3-game winning streak. Assistant coach of the Eskimos, Paul Boudreau, is saying, along with his head coach, Pete Teller, let's get this first half over with. Get things straightened out in the locker room. First down, Edmonton from their own 35. Moon will put it up on the last play of the opening half. Neil Lumsden hit by Tyrone Cruz at the 42-yard line. It's a gain of 7 as the gun sounds to end just a fantastic show by the BC Lions here in Edmonton. 5 touchdowns, and they lead the Eskimos 36-3.
Well, it's halftime. I've got Coach Don Matthews, and thanks for stopping by, Don. I'm amazed your team is playing so well. They're so well prepared. Everybody's talking about your offense. It's your defense that's doing a job on Warren Moon.
Well, Al, you know what really happens sometimes in a short week is that you don't really have time enough for the coaches to mess up the players, and they're just playing with their ability. We had a short week, and our preparation was a little short. I'm just really tickled pink with how the players are playing.
Your great speed of your wide receivers is really showing when they get the Eskimos one-on-one.
Well, I think that's what happens sometimes when you blitz, and we've got a pretty good package of picking up their blitz and giving Roy some time, and when that happens, it certainly puts some pressure on those defensive backs.
Coach, it's an awfully good team. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Don Matthews, coach of the BC Lions, who lead, would you believe, by a whopping score of 36-3. Let's go upstairs.
All right, we're taking a look at the first half statistics, so you see where the BC Lions have the big edge in first downs, and they have the edge, of course, in total offensive yardage. But you have to look at something that isn't on there, Frank: turnovers and penalties against the Eskimos.
Well, of course, Warren Moon had come into this ball game. We mentioned it during the first 30 minutes. He only had 1 interception against him. He led in every passing category in the Canadian Football League, was ahead of his 1982 record-setting pace, had 9 touchdowns, but it just was a complete reversal in this first half. Also, Dale, the thing that was really big there was those penalties were so key. Not just the touchdown called back by Brian Kelly, but they also let the BC Lions get out of a hole at their end of the field. Everything has gone for the Lions, as you said a couple of times.
One thing about the Eskimos, and we've seen it time and time again, Frank, is their ability to come back no matter what stage of the football game. We saw the play to Brian Kelly that was unfortunately for them wiped out by a penalty. Now they're regrouping. They have all the experience in the world. They've won it 5 years in a row now. What do you think they can do? They seem to get so frustrated with the way things went.
Well, this is a very, very proud football club, and you better believe that the BC Lions better button on their headgear in that third quarter, because they're going to come out of that locker room with fire in their eyes. I really think it's just been an unbelievable. Everything has gone for the Lions in terms of breaks, but they've deserved their lead, no question about that. They just played great both ways.
Roy DeWalt has thrown 4 touchdown passes. The score 36-3 in favor of the Lions. Yesterday in the CFL with Pat Claridge in just a moment.
Score! Get back with the pack. Big 20.
Gary Hayes stopped by Joe Kukla, number 11, and the Eskimos will start in good field position at their own 47. It's a 36-3 ball game in favor of the BC Lions, and there's new sweater numbers being worn by some of the Eskimos. Tom Tuine, normally number 60, will wear 69 in the second half. James Parker, usually number 40, wearing 45, as you see. Roy DeWalt, sensational.
I thought there'd be quite a number of the Eskimos changing numbers at halftime.
4 touchdown passes by Roy DeWalt in that first half. Moon was intercepted 4 times in the opening 30 minutes. Completes this one to Waddell Smith for a first down at the BC 49-yard line. He put that one right on the money and in a hurry. 19-yard gain for Smith. That's his first catch of the ball game.
Yeah, you can rest assured this ball game is not over. This is only 30 minutes haven't been played, and Warren Moon can put it in the end zone just as often as anybody else. The Lions are going to have to take it away from him right here in the third quarter.
First down, Edmonton. The ball at the BC 49. Looking for Kelly. He's got him. He slides to make the catch for another first down. Kelly moves the football to the BC 37-yard line. So quickly, back-to-back first downs as the Eskimos open this third quarter. Ryan Kelly had an 80-yard score in the second quarter, wiped out due to a holding penalty. It was all BC, especially in that second quarter. They outscored the Eskimos 29-0. The most points they've ever scored against Edmonton was 49 back in 1964. Neil Lumsden out of bounds at the BC 23, and a penalty marker comes down. Crawford will be penalized. Well, this will certainly get the Eskimos pumped up a little bit if getting the crowd going.
I'll tell you what, Larry Crawford better keep his mouth shut. He's going to get a penalty on top of it. He starts to throw Lunsford out of bounds, but then holds him up. The official's penalizing him right there. He does not see him hold him up. Penalty will move the ball all the way down to the Lion 12-yard line.
If you're wondering, too,
unnecessary roughing. BC number 28.
That's the call against Larry Crawford. There's a bit of a rule change there and a terminology change as far as contact with a player out of bounds. Before, of course, it was tackling a player out of bounds. Now it's really contacting a player who is clearly out of bounds results in a penalty. You saw it right there. First down, Eskimos, the ball at the BC 12. Good protection for Moon, and they've got a touchdown to Tom Scott. Oh, how quickly the Eskimos move that football in with a score.
Just a straight move to the inside, a post pattern by Tommy Scott after a little fake. He beats Bird to the inside, trying to get help from Nelson Martin behind him, and he does not. A great throw by Moon. And the Eskimos are starting back.
12-yard score to Tommy Scott, and that his 78th career touchdown reception. He's number 2 in the all-time list in that category, the record held by Terry Evanston of 80. Dave Cutler to convert Scott's touchdown with Paul Hickey doing the holding. We had a lot of scoring in the first half by the BC Lions, and the Edmonton Eskimos open up the second half with a touchdown drive of their own.
Let's take a look from the end zone level. You'll just see how perfectly this ball is thrown to Tommy Scott. The Eskimos are trying their comeback. It's 36-10, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Have just scored. Now they're kicking off. Dave Cutler does not put it deep. Gets a good bounce to Sammy Green. Look out for this guy. Sammy Green, who is averaging over 56 yards a return, brings it out to near the 40-yard line. 36-yard run back on the kickoff by Cutler.
Thanks, Dale. This is Bobby Ackles, of course, the general manager of the BC Lions. Bob, you've been with this ball club since the inception. Anything as exciting as that first 30 minutes to you?
No, I don't think there has been. Maybe the Grey Cup year that we won, but it's been a very exciting first half. Looks like the second half is going to be a barn burner as well, Frank.
Talking to you just a moment ago, I asked you if you're scared because the Eskimos put one on the board. It's now 36-10. You say you're always scared of this ball club.
Always scared with this ball club and coming into the Edmonton home park.
The way the BC Lions have played this first 30 minutes, it's just got to be tremendously exciting to see the Winnipeg Blue Bombers come in next week to BC Place.
Yes, it could be one of the most exciting games of the year for us and for Winnipeg.
We're missing some action. Your ball club's back on the move again. Bob, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Frank.
While Bobby Ackles was talking, a newly acquired import running back Larry Jones was on the receiving end of this play. Now Parker gets to the wall, and he just gets the ball off to Larry Jones, who's been inserted into the lineup here in the second half. Jones out of Colorado State was with Saskatchewan, sent to Montreal, and then the Lions acquired him. And he has big speed, and he picks up 21 yards and a first down for BC at the Edmonton 51-yard line. The ball going deep for Sammy Green. Penalty. Gary Hayes pushed the intended receiver just as he is going to make a catch. And Sammy Green gets up pointing at Gary Hayes. First and goal for the Lions at the 6-yard line.
Sammy was very quick to point it out, and you'll see the contact right here. He's had no chance to turn around and play the football.
Edmonton, number 28. First down.
All the problems with penalties continue, Frank. They didn't need that.
You know, this ball keeps going up and down the field. We only had 10 points scored in the first quarter. The Lions led 7-3. We might have 100 if it keeps going like this.
Look at the penalty total against the Eskimos. Besides the turnovers, that has definitely hurt them tonight. First and goal for the Lions at the 6-yard line.
That pitch.
John Henry White already has a touchdown tonight in that play, and he's got another one. Well, the Eskimos start off the third quarter in great shape. They march the field, score a touchdown, but the Lions come right back thanks to a big interference penalty that put the ball at the 6. John Henry White with his 3rd touchdown tonight. And the second time he scored on that play.
Just a great block by the young lineman, Gerald Roper of the BC Lions. He's number 65. Watch him come to the outside now. He'll pick up Dan Kepley, number 42, the middle linebacker, and he just puts Kep right back to the goal line. He's number 65. Contact right there.
Saglia with his 6th point after of the night, and the BC Lions have increased their lead again over the Edmonton Eskimos. They lead it once more by 33 points, the same margin they held at halftime. But we've had both clubs score touchdowns already in the third quarter, and we still have 11:24 to play.
Let's take a look at that block once again. We just didn't get a chance to finish it off. Watch Roper come out here. Johnny Taylor also is providing a little bit of blocking for John Henry White, but it's Roper that turns upfield and picks up the outstanding all-star middle linebacker. Stop it there. You'll see the contact. Kepley's in position to make the tackle, but Roper just drives him back, along with the little assistance by John Henry White's power.
The Lions lead 43-10. The most points the Lions have ever scored in a ball game against anybody is 52. That was against Calgary in 1981, a game which you'll recall at McMahon Stadium as you watch the kickoff. Joe Holloman having trouble with it.
Very dangerous when the timing gets thrown off.
Holloman brings it out to the 20-yard line. And I mentioned before, the most points the Lions have ever scored against the Eskimos is 49 back in 64.
That certainly seems in jeopardy.
It does. 14-yard return for Joe Holloman. So the Eskimos get the ball for the second time in the third quarter. John Henry White with 3 touchdowns tonight. 2 running and 1 pass receiving. He came into the ball game with 4. He now has 7 on the season, of course, and leads the league in touchdowns scored. First down, Edmonton. Moon, good protection, looking for Smith. Terry Parker is with them all the way. Parker looking for a call on Smith. Smith says Parker should have been called. Now you see that the 2 players are getting after each other pretty good out there.
I thought it was just an excellent defensive play by Parker. He turns around just at the right time, running stride for stride with Waddell Smith, and gets that right hand up there.
And he's playing the football.
No question about it. He had the inside position. Second and 10. We're just into the second half of this ball game, and we've already had 2 majors scored, 1 by each team. It's 43-10 for the Lions over the Eskimos.
Here's the second down play from the Edmonton 20-yard line. The blitz, big heat on Moon. Uh-oh, there's nobody around. He's lucky he didn't get a flag on that play.
Waddell Smith was trying to come back after running a deep pattern on that right side. Warren did the smart thing. He might as well get rid of it.
Brings up third down, and the Eskimos will be punting. Warren Moon having to get out of that pocket that time as the BC blitz was on top of him.
The Lions have blitzed less often than the Eskimos, and maybe consequently more effectively.
Paul Hickey, as you see, outstanding kicking average tonight. bettering his seasonal average, and it's a beauty. Oh, Hickey drives Crawford back to his own 25-yard line. Brings it out across the 30-35 to about the 37-yard line, but what a tremendous kick. A 65-yard punt by Paul Hickey. They needed that one. The Lions lead by 33 in the third quarter. We'll be back to Commonwealth Stadium in just a moment. 66,000 in attendance tonight, but they're not too happy at all. Look at that score. It's been all BC Lions. And they have a big lead here in the third quarter with 9:50 remaining, and the Lions have the ball once more. Two teams have exchanged touchdowns here in the third already. The Walt to Jacques Chapdelaine. I believe that's the rookie's first catch of the season for the Lions. #1 draft choice out of Simon Fraser. His first catch tonight anyway, and I think it's the first time this year he's touched the ball. From Sherbrooke, Quebec, Jacques Chapdelaine. He plays inside receiver as well, but in this ball game he's a starting wideout.
All on their own 42.
The gain of about 5 yards. Second down for the Lions. The ball at their own 42. Ball looking for Pancratz, and just a little too much on this one. And that'll bring up third down.
And only the second punt by Lou Pasaglia in this football game, Dale. We're almost 2.5 quarters old, and Louis only had to punt once.
Pretty good indication of how that offense of the Lions has been rolling tonight. Pasaglia has been busy with converts.
Well, the defense has solved that for them, too, because they put the Lions in excellent field position so often with turnovers.
It's been an outstanding night for Don Matthews' crew, both offensively and defensively. He talked about it being a short week of preparation. Of course, they played last Sunday. Pasaglia gets a nice high punt away, moving up to take it as Frietta at the 25. He's hit immediately and dropped by Kevin Konar, number 31, at the 28-yard line. 3-yard return, a 43-yard punt. Lots of hang time for Pasaglia that occasion. 8:54 remaining in the third. The Lions, big lead on the scoreboard, big lead in first downs as well. If you want to count turnovers, penalties, they also have big leads there.
43-yard punt, 4-yard return, first and 10 have it in the ball on their own 29.
The Eskimos came out strongly here in the third quarter and marched for a touchdown. Last time they had the ball, they were forced to punt. Now they're first and 10 at their own 29. Penalty marker. Pass was incomplete. Again, Moon put a lot on that one, trying to get it to Brian Pryor.
You know, he mentioned the Lions not blitzing quite as much as the Edmonton Eskimos, but they are trying to deal in there. You'll see Mac Moore going to the outside and Klassen coming down to the inside. The Edmonton Eskimos have picked up most of that most of the evening. However, it has been an effective blitz when the Lions come with it. We've got a pass interference call now against the BC Lions, which will be an automatic first down for the Eskimos.
It was away from the play as well, Frank. It was called against Kerry Parker on Waddell Smith. You saw them pushing and shoving just a few moments ago, and they're still going at it. And Waddell Smith again splits wide to the right side. It's first down Eskimos at their own 40, and Smith will go against Parker once more. Deep drop. Moon wants to go long. Parker got it way up in the air to bat the ball, and he almost gave Waddell Smith a chance to run under it, and they're jawing at each other again.
That's a one-on-one confrontation, isn't it? Each of them waving at the other one, and a non-stop battle of verbal abuse at each other.
Second down and 10 for Edmonton.
Great play by Parker once again. Just perfect timing.
Tackled Smith that time. The pass goes to Scott at the midfield stripe. First down Edmonton, and Smith and Parker have really got a feud going here. He just knocks Smith down. Freddie Fleming has it on ISO.
Well, there isn't any question that there's some contact involved between receivers and defensive backs. Both recover pretty quickly, but a nice throw once again by Warren Moon, and the Eskimos are moving. The Edmonton Cuties have not had a lot to cheer about tonight.
Goes down the ball right at midfield. Brian Kelly is open, and he makes the catch for another first down at the 37-yard line. So the Eskimos have got something going again offensively here in the third quarter.
Just great timing between an experienced receiver and an experienced quarterback. This ball is in the air before Brian cuts to the outside. JoJo Heath, the defender, has to give him a little bit of room. He's only 3 or 4 yards away from him, but another strike by Moon.
Gives you another indication of just how well Roy DeWalt has performed tonight. Because Moon is not bad percentage-wise. Of course, the defensive backs have gotten in the way of 4 of his passes. A lot of movement along that line. Whoa, Parker moves up and makes the hit on Waddell Smith. Waddell hung on to the football.
I think Parker would like Smith to catch some more of these. Watch this hit. That also is perfect timing.
Looks like they'll be
I think it's a procedure call. Now they're going to mark it off against the Lions. The Lions did move, and that inside, I believe it was Curry.
Offside, BC, number 78.
Number 78, it's Mac Moore right in the center of that defensive line of the BC Lions. It looked like he was drawn offside, but they say not so. First and 5.
They take the penalty, not the gain by Waddell Smith. The ball now at the 32-yard line. Moon in trouble, and they've got him back at the 41, the first sack of the night against Warren Moon.
I'll tell you, Glenn Jackson came in there with some fury. Number 37, the outstanding linebacker from previously from SFU at the Lions. Number 37, watch this. That's Neil Lumsden that he pushed aside, who outweighs Jackson by about 15 pounds. I think maybe Jackson wanted him pretty badly.
Watch this.
And the fun and games continue.
Second down and about 14 yards to go. Ball is loose. Moon got back and picked it up. But it'll be third down now for the Eskimos, right at the 41-yard line.
Procedure call. You can see Donnie Matthews on the Lions bench waving that penalty off. I think they got you, Don.
Procedure, Edmonton, number 83, declined.
Waddell was a little bit anxious to get down there and see Mr. Parker again.
So it's third down for the Eskimos, and Dave Cutler comes into the ball game. And he'll be trying almost a 50-yard field goal. He'll probably get the hold at the 49. His longest of the season is 48. Paul Hickey will do the holding. He has the distance, but it is wide to the right. That is Crawford in the end zone. And he'll give up a single point. So the BC Lions now lead the Edmonton Eskimos 43-11 here in the third quarter, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Statewood Waterbeds brings you another first. The lowest priced waterbed in Canada and possibly the entire world. A complete waterbed for just $79.95. This
4:54 remaining in the third quarter. The BC Lions enjoying a big lead. Of course, they did it all in the second quarter when they scored 4 touchdowns. And the Eskimos, of course, did not even get a point in that second quarter. So far in the third, each team has scored a TD. Right now, the BC Lions have it first and 10 from their own 42, following the missed field goal attempt by Dave Cutler. Caught in the backfield by James Parker. That was Larry Jones, number 23.
It looked like DeWalt and Jones both kind of slipped on the play. Nevertheless, Mr. Parker was right there to make the stop in any event. The loss is about 5. 4:15 remains in the third quarter. The Lions will have to put it up in the air once again.
Second and long, facing BC. The ball now at their own 37. Big rush on the wall. They haven't got to him yet tonight. And what a great job he did of running away from them. First down, BC. Tremendous run by Roy DeWalt. Puts the ball into Eskimo territory. A gain of close to 30 yards on the play.
Good fake by DeWalt right at the line of scrimmage. Held everybody defensively. Tom Tune, wearing number 69 now, just could not catch up with DeWalt. 2 carries now for 66 yards for Roy DeWalt.
First down at the Edmonton 51-yard line. 21-yard gain by DeWalt. And a 45-yarder in the first quarter. That pass intended for Sammy Green was thrown behind him.
Long pass down to Sammy Green is complete. They'll ponder it on the white.
DeWalt, an outstanding runner with the football. 5.5-yard average coming into the ball game tonight has certainly improved on that. As you take a look at Nick Hebler, his left knee wrapped and on crutches, injured in the first quarter. He was talking to Al McCann, who thought it possibly could be some cartilage damage, but they'll wait for further diagnosis and examination once they get back to Vancouver. DeWalt under heavy pressure going long for Fernandez. Knocked away by Joe Holloman. A great defensive play. He went up in the air a long way and almost came down with it.
Fernandez knocked away by Joe Holloman.
Joe, victimized by Fernandez a little earlier in this ball game, comes back with a great defensive effort.
Saglia in for punting duties. Under 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Holloman now joins Emilio Frietta back deep about the 5-yard line, awaiting the kick from Lou Saglia. 43-11 the score in favor of the BC Lions. Going for their 4th straight win. Frietta waits for it at the 4. Needs a couple of blocks to get around that corner. Frietta brings it out to the 20-yard line, but he ran a long way to get a 16-yard return. He ran all the way across the field, 65 yards worth before he got it out to the 20.
I'll tell you, that was a tremendous effort in pursuit by Ray Waddy, number 25 of the Lions, who almost made contact on this side of the field, just kept after Frietta.
First down for the Eskimos at their own 20. 2:10 remaining in the third quarter. Frietta, the 5-year veteran out of the Edmonton Wildcat junior team, as you look at Roy DeWalt. Moon with all kinds of time, but nobody open. Looking for Pryor. And he may have just mistimed his leap slightly. He was coming down when that ball finally got to him. And it's second down and 10. Some attention being given to quarterback DeWalt.
I think possibly just a cramp in Roy's left leg. And Rick Klassen looked like he was getting up a little slowly. Of course, he was questionable in terms of whether or not he'd be able to play in this ball game. Number 60 now at left defensive end in place of Hebler. 1:46 now in the third quarter. It's 43-11 for BC.
29 unanswered points in the second quarter. Second and 10. Waddell Smith has a first down out at the 42-yard line. Tackled by you-know-who, Kerry Parker, number 17, a gain of 22. Waddell Smith has caught the ball twice tonight for a gain of 41 yards.
He has not been the factor, however, in this ball game that he was in the previous 2 weeks with the Eskimos. DeWalt trying to walk off that slight injury to his left leg.
Joe Pawpaw is not loosening up, so we expect DeWalt back when the Lions get their hands on the ball once more. Wide open, Santucci down the middle. He's got another first down for the Eskimos. He moves it into BC territory. The Eskimos have been able to move the football here in the third quarter. So far, only managed one touchdown and a single point. 16-yard gain that time for Santucci.
Well, the defense, obviously, in this situation is prepared to lay off the receivers, give them that underneath type of stuff. Seems reasonable with a 32-point lead and an offense that's putting points on the board consistently.
Moon is down for the second time tonight, back at the Edmonton 48. That time breaking through was Mac Moore, number 78.
Gentlemen, I'm down at the Lions bench, and Coach Matthews has just asked Joe Powell to warm up in case Roy DeWalt can't shake off the cramp that he is affected in his leg. Roy is hoping he can get back in, but Powell is loosening up. Might go in next year.
Frank mentioned earlier about the capabilities, certainly at quarterback for the BC Lions now, with Joe Powell backing up Roy DeWalt. One area where they would have the edge over Edmonton. Moon looking for Tom Scott off his fingertips. Brings up third down, and the Eskimos will be forced to punt, and they'll have to wait to start the fourth quarter before they'll get that punt away. After 3 full quarters here at Commonwealth Stadium, the Lions lead the Eskimos 43-11. We'll be back with the fourth quarter in just a moment. Fourth quarter, Commonwealth Stadium. Paul Hickey getting ready to punt the ball away. And he gets another beauty. Nice and high and deep. Inside the 5-yard line, Crawford on the return. Caught by Leo Blanchard. A penalty marker goes down. We have pushing and shoving going on between Joe Kuklo and Emilio Frietta. 59-yard punt, and the return is held to 9 yards. So the Eskimos are pleased with their coverage, their kick, that entire play. And a penalty will move it back against towards the BC Lion goal line. Penalties against them.
Kuklo is going to be called on a Frietta, and he have been having a bit of a battle too on specialty teams throughout the evening.
Unnecessary roughing, BC number 11.
You look at the statistical story is just totally surprising because it is very even.
Of course, what is not shown there, 5 turnovers. BC Lions have intercepted Moon 4 times and 1 fumble recovery. And of course, that 50-yard loss takes away a lot of yardage for the Lions. That was when the Eskimos got a safety touch and a bad snap on a punt that went over Pasaglia's head, and he gave up the 2 points.
They're going to get another penalty as there's only 4 seconds showing on the clock, and they don't have their
Let's go to Al.
player in there.
I've got Kerry Parker. Kerry, you're having quite a one-on-one, mano-a-mano with Waddell tonight.
Yes, I am. Waddell, he has a lot of speed, and for 3 years now, he thought that he can get deep on me. And I'm just trying to deny him the deep pass. I'm really driving hard on the short pass and trying to draw him loose. He's catching a few short passes. I can't take anything away from him, but I have to play really loose and expect something deep, because I know if they're going to go deep, they're going to go deep to Waddell Smith.
Yeah, you forced them to go to their inside receivers when they've had any success.
Yes, and also Joe is also doing a good job on the other side, and I think that what Moon is looking at is that we're playing really good outside, so he's going to take to his inside game. He's been a little successful, but I hope that our defensive front can continue to get to him, and we can shut him out this fourth quarter.
Thanks, Kerry.
Thank you.
Time count violation against the Lions. Put the ball back half the distance to the goal line to the 3, and then that running play didn't go anywhere. The Eskimos threw the running back White for another 1-yard loss, so the Lions are down deep at their own 2-yard line, facing 2nd and 15.
Tom Towns making that great play for the Eskimos from that outside linebacking spot. Ball's all the way back to the 1.5-yard line of the Lions now.
Joe Powell is the quarterback, replacing the starter, Roy DeWalt. He left the ball game with a bit of a sore left leg. Looking for Pankratz, he's got him at the 10, and he's tackled immediately by Mike McLeod. He'll be well short of the first down, and the Lions will have to send in the punting unit. Well, the Eskimo defense comes up with a supreme effort that time, and they should get great field possession after this punt from Pasaglia. John Pankratz got the opening touchdown of the ball game way back in the first quarter. It was the only major score of the opening 15 minutes. But then in the second quarter, the Lions put 4 majors up. Fernandez, Green, and 2 by John Henry White. And White has also added his 3rd of the game in the third quarter. 43-11 for the Lions early in the fourth quarter. This is Holloman waiting for it at his own 51. Shows a burst of speed as he gets inside the BC 50 or 45-yard line. Well, that's where the Eskimos will start. 1st and 10 at the BC 44. And the Lions lead it with a big margin. We'll be back in just a moment. Tonight here at Commonwealth Stadium, just over 52,000. Of course, in all BC Lions for the most part. The Eskimos do have the football in BC territory at the 43-yard line. First down. Warren Moon escapes trouble and finds Neil Lumsden. Lumsden is to the 35 for a gain of 8 yards. Injured BC Lion on the play. Looks like James Furry, number 55, making the tackle on Lumsden. Very slow in getting up. But he's back on his feet now. One of the biggest weekends in Canadian football will take place September 16th to the 18th in Hamilton. And that's the annual Hall of Fame induction festivities. Being inducted this year, Bud Grant, Earl Lunsford, Herb Gray, Don McPherson, and Frank Moore. 1 week from tonight, the Argonauts and the Ottawa Rough Riders. And Friday Night Football continues on CTV. Second and 2, Moon looking for Waddell Smith. And the ball was there. Smith had his man beaten. He just didn't hang on to it.
Oh, I think Waddell just took that a little bit too casually as he was wide open, having beaten his nemesis, Gary Barker, to the outside. A ball perfectly thrown by Moon. Can't do it any better than that.
Tomorrow's action in the CFL, Toronto playing in Winnipeg and Ottawa at Hamilton. And the weekend number 6 will be completed on Sunday with Saskatchewan hosting Calgary. And again, as you see, Friday, August 19th from Lansdowne Park in Ottawa, Rough Riders hosting the Argonauts. 3rd down and 2. Nobody there.
Way overthrown.
Both Brian Kelly and Tommy Scott are up at the 15-yard line. Kelly appeared to get knocked down.
Watch Bryant slip on this excellent turf here at Commonwealth Stadium. Gets up and slips again. That has not been a problem for most of these ball players throughout the evening. Another turnover against the Eskimos with 11:33 remaining. 43-11.
And we want to remind BC Lions fans that their team will be playing at home Saturday, August 20th against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Could be another first-place showdown, and they should have a great crowd for that one. The ball goes over to the BC Lions. 1st and 10 from their own 35. John Henry White.
John Henry White.
Gain of about 3 on the play. 2nd down and 7. Busy night for John Henry with 3 touchdowns.
Stay with us as the Carling O'Keefe Game Stars will be announced right after the final gun. It's going to be kind of tough to pick an offensive star. There's a great candidate, Roy DeWalt, but John Henry's got 3 touchdowns. There's just been a bunch of great offensive play here this evening.
Joe Powell quarterbacking the Lions now. 2nd down and 7. Blitz. Powell escapes 1 man. And then is dropped back at the 26-yard line. Dan Kepley was there in a big hurry. He got out of his grasp, but there was David Boone, James Parker as well.
Here's something you don't always get to see the offensive backs do, but what makes John Henry White such a complete football player. Watch him, he's number 20 as he sets up to help block. Now that's Dale Potter, who's got to outweigh him by about 35 pounds, and he stood him up right at the line of scrimmage. They didn't stand enough of them up, though, and they lost will put the Lions into a punting situation back at their own 26-yard line.
Again, it's Holloman and Prieta, the deep man, waiting for Pasaglia's punt. Just got the snap off in time as the 20-second clock had run out. Holloman from the 32. Brent Brissett, number 74, downfield, making the tackle at the 37-yard line. A 52-yard punt and a return of 5 by Holloman. The Lions lead it by 32, and we'll be back in just a moment. A 9:55 remaining in the fourth quarter. Eskimos coming into the ball game, only giving up 19 points per game average. Tonight, the Lions have scored 43 against them. First down, Edmonton, the ball at their own 37. Tom Scott at the 45-yard line. He'll be a couple of yards short of the first down. Konar and Crawford teamed up to make the tackle on him. The Lions coming into the ball game, averaging 31 points a game. And defensively, they'd only given up 20 points on a game average. Tonight, they've held the Eskimos to 11. Eskimos coming in were averaging 33 points a game offensively. Second down and about 2 yards to go for the Eskimos from their own 45. Ryan Kelly. First down and more to the BC 40-yard line. The play like that he took for 80 yards for a touchdown in the second quarter was wiped out because of a holding call. This one's a gain of 25.
Well, I'll tell you, Moon puts this ball right in between about 3 BC Lion defenders. And a great catch once again by Bryant. Gets away from JoJo Heath and moves down to the 40-yard line. Eskimos by no means have given up.
I just chatted with Roy DeWalt, and he did take a shot on his knee. It's a little bit sore, and the coach thought best to let Powell go in, but DeWalt doesn't feel it's serious.
That's certainly good news for BC Lion fans.
Tommy Scott makes his 8th catch of the night. Tommy Scott has already gone over the 100-yard mark tonight in receptions for the 37th time in his career. Of course, he is the all-time CFL leader in that category. Donnie Hickman at the BC bench. Gain of 9 yards that time for Scott. He now has 8 catches for 120 yards. 2nd and 1 for Edmonton. Matt Dunnigan, the backup quarterback for the Eskimos, is warming up the near sidelines. 7 minutes and 52 seconds remaining in the ball game. For the Eskimos to the 18-yard line. Stock from UCLA.
Great hit by JoJo Heath after Stock picks up his first reception of the evening. I didn't think both of them were going to get up from this one.
First down from the BC 18-yard line. 7 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Incomplete, second down and 10. Moon not too happy with that throw. Waddell Smith had beaten his man Terry Parker to the outside.
Almost looks like a vendetta against Parker. They're trying to isolate him with Waddell Smith to that wide side, and they did so once again. Just couldn't deliver the football quite good enough. 2nd and 10.
Eskimos travel to Montreal to play the Concord a week from tomorrow. Then they're back home against Ottawa 2 weeks from tonight. We'll be back here in Edmonton to bring you that one on CTV. 2nd and 10 for the Eskimos. Tom Scott intercepted. I think it's Kevin Konar that came up with the interception, then he fumbled the ball, and a Lion also recovered it. So they snuff out another Eskimo drive. another look at it. I'm not sure actually who did get that football.
Took a shot at Scott right at the line of scrimmage, slowing him down. That was Larry Crawford. What a great interception. I believe it was our old buddy Kevin Konar. Get up, Kevin, go with it. Spent the afternoon with Kevin talking about the BC Lions defense. Very personable young guy, and would like to be playing a lot more for the BC Lions. In this Rovers setup, he doesn't get to start too many football games, but a very valuable linebacker for the BC Lions.
It was Rick Klassen that fell on the loose football. It's 1st and 10 for the Lions at their own 15. Larry Jones, the ball carrier, stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Absolutely no running room at all. So Pow taken over from Roy DeWalt. Under 6 minutes remaining in the ball game.
Be interesting to know, Dale, if Warren Moon has ever been intercepted 5 times in one game. I don't believe so. Not in his CFL career.
I certainly don't recall it. Second down, almost a full 10 yards to go. Alpha under heat from Boone, steps inside of him and throws it to Dan Kepley with his second interception of the night, takes it to the 2-yard line, and a couple of penalty flags fly.
Well, that may be a face masking penalty against the Lions, but it'll be meaningless. Kepley got it down to just about the 1-yard line anyway.
His second interception of the night, first 2 of the season.
Hard to believe that Papa could not see number 42. He hit him right in the numbers with it.
Number 62, Spearing.
That's Hickman. Well, that ball was really underthrown. There was no receiver within 10 yards of it. Hickman definitely guilty of that Spearing penalty.
Definitely a little shaken up on the play. First and goal from the 1-yard line for the Edmonton Eskimos. Ball is loose. The Lions have got it back. Santucci fumbled it as they hit into the line of scrimmage, and the Lions dodge another one. JoJo Heath with the football.
Well, when it goes your way, it goes your way. But this is great defense.
Konar
number 31, and I believe it was a contact by Kev's, either his helmet or his shoulder pad that knocked that football loose.
And it just sat up there nice and pretty for JoJo Heath to grab it, and the Lions have the ball at their own 6-yard line.
Kevin's going to be defensive star of the game based on 3 minutes. A great interception and a great hit right at the goal line.
5 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, and the ball turned over on downs. 8 turnovers tonight against the Eskimos. 43-11 the score. Under 5 minutes remaining in the ball game.
You can see that clock at the top of your screen now, and the Lions have been very effectively using that clock here in the late part of the 4th quarter.
John Henry White, he bounces the ball once, finally gets a hold of it, does not get back to the line of scrimmage. I would say it might be a case now where both teams have lost concentration slightly. 29-point second quarter for the Lions. Put it out of reach. They lead it now 43-11.
Dan Kepley not in the ball game. We certainly hope he was not injured on that Spearing incident down at the 1-yard line.
Stu McAndrews, the rookie out of the University of Alberta, has replaced Kepley as linebacker. Second down and 11 at 5. They stay on the ground. John Henry White with a good run brings it out to about the 13, where he's tackled by Ed Jones, but he'll be 4 yards short of the first down, and so the Lions will have to punt. 3 touchdowns tonight for John Henry White. .5 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. The Lions up in front by 32 points. And they'll take over sole possession of first place in the West, for the moment at least, depending on what happens tomorrow night between Toronto and Winnipeg. The fourth win in a row for the Lions after an opening game loss in Toronto. Saglia in the end zone with it. Minutes and 1 second remaining in the football game. 43-13 now the scores. They get a safety touch. We'll be back in just a moment. Didn't like the odds of kicking the football from his own end zone, so he gave up the safety touch. It makes the score 43-13, and of course now the BC Lions have to kick off from their own 35-yard line. You look at the rookie head coach of the Eskimos, Pete Catella, pacing back and forth. It's been one of those nights. Everything has gone the BC Lions' way. .301 remaining in the football game, and it's 43-13 in favor of BC. Eskimos have 3 men back deep. Penalty marker flies at the kickoff.
Lions offside on that kickoff deal.
Holloman on the return. Brings it out to the 50-yard line where he's tackled by Nelson Martin. A return of 34 yards, but they may have to do it all over again.
Larry Jones, number 23, the newcomer into the Lions lineup, got in front of Lou on that kickoff. Eskimos might be quite happy with their field position. I don't think they'll make them kick it again.
Deep line. First down.
36-yard return.
Eskimos decline the penalty. First and 10 from their own 51. Into the last 3 minutes of play. Tom Scott has left the ball game. So has Warren Moon. Dunnigan has replaced him. Marco Sincar has replaced Tom Scott. Dunnigan, the rookie quarterback out of Louisiana Tech.
Got a great arm.
Throwing as he's going down. Completes it to Brian Fryer.
How's that for an arm?
Tough, didn't he?
I'll tell you one thing, he delivered that right on a clothesline, too, as he was going down. Just a great throw by the youngster. Watch it again.
22-yard gain.
Pretty good protection, actually, for Matt. Finally, Rick Klassen's got a hold of him, but as he's going down, boom. Just 39 remain.
Just over the linebacker, Kevin Pronar. First and 10 from the 37. Waddell Smith makes the catch, flips the tackle, and picks up a couple of more. He's down to the 22. And Dunnigan had not seen much action at all this year. As you watch again, Waddell Smith making the catch and the pass throw behind him. And there's Parker. Dunnigan had only completed 4 out of 9 prior to tonight. He has not thrown a touchdown or an interception. Right now the Eskimos threatening from 22. Dunnigan under pressure throws. Picked off by JoJo Heath. Pass intended for Brian Kelly. He catches Heath from behind. The ball goes loose. It's picked up by the Eskimos. All right. The Eskimos will have the football when we come back. It's 43-13. They'll return in a moment.
Get back with the pack.
Vic 20 and 2-pack.
Hey, a Vic in a sports bag.
With software. Oh, look, you can...
Well, following the interception by Heath, then the fumble by Heath, the Eskimos got the ball back. Dunnigan to Brian Kelly for a first down at the BC 23-yard line. Actually, an exchange of interception and then a fumble. The Eskimos ended up losing 15 yards. They're having to start all over again, basically. Draw to Scott Stock. Big hole up the middle. He takes it to the 15-yard line for a gain of 8 yards. Second down and 2. We have 1:26 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Neil, just a little more background on Matt Dunnigan. He was a quarterback, as you mentioned, at Louisiana Tech, but I don't think you said that he passed for over 7,000 yards while at that school and broke the all-time record for passing yardage, which was held by a young guy from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Terry Bradshaw.
Penalty marker on 2nd and 2. Dunnigan overshoots Kelly in the end zone. Procedure call against the Edmonton Eskimos. That'll move the ball back to near the 20-yard line.
1:08 remains now.
Second down over again and 7 yards to go.
Illegal procedure, Edmonton, number 70.
Actually, Matt Dunnigan wasn't really expected to be the backup quarterback for Warren Moon this year. All the promise in the world was shown by Mike Williams, of course, but then he was injured in the preseason game in Saskatchewan, and he's still out of action. He's due back at the end of August.
I like the way this young guy throws the football.
Here's Scott Stock again. Got some blockers in front of him. Takes it inside the 5-yard line, where it'll be 1st and goal for the Eskimos. 17-yard gain. We have just over a minute remaining in the 4th quarter. The Eskimos would love to put it in the end zone at least once more tonight.
Good move to the inside by shot. JoJo Heath cannot make the stop as he slips just as he's going after the ball carrier inside the 5-yard line now with just 1 minute remaining.
1st and goal from the 3. Play action fake for Santucci. Big trouble. Ball's loose again. Santucci gets to it at the 22-yard line.
Well, this has just been a comedy of errors in the last couple of minutes.
Well, the Eskimos have had their chances to put it in the end zone here in the 4th quarter, but an interception, fumble, almost cost them another one here. Puts them away back at the 22. 2nd and goal from the 22. Santucci finally getting to that loose ball.
Initial pressure by Klassen, number 60.
Going after the young quarterback. Even though this game was decided long ago. Dunnigan looking for Brian Kelly. Nelson Martin got over there. He may have just got enough of it to knock it away from Kelly in the end zone. 24 seconds remaining. Another look. See if Martin does get a hand on it.
I think he tipped it, Dill. Well, I don't know. I still don't know. Doesn't matter much as it becomes 3rd and goal from the 23 now. Pretty soon, the way things are going, they're going to play 12 defensive backs. They won't rush anybody.
All right, here it is. 24 seconds remaining, and the Eskimos 3rd and goal, but they're back at the 22.5-yard line. Dunnigan looking for Brian Kelly. He threw it behind him, and the ball will go over to the BC Lions, and that really goes into the books as another turnover, and that's about 9 tonight. 10, the 10th turnover against the Eskimos, counting lost on downs.
It must be a modern-day record that the Eskimos can't be very proud of tonight. 20 seconds remain now as the Lions obviously just coming in to kill off the last few seconds and enjoy their 43-13 victory over rookie head coach Pete Catella. Don Matthews returning to the site of many happy moments, and boy, this is a great one for him tonight.
Paupau just grounds the football, and he'll have to do it once more before this game is history. And what a game for the BC Lions. Started in the 1st quarter with a touchdown by Pancratz, and then added 4 more in the 2nd quarter.
What a crowd they should have at BC Place next week as the Winnipeg Blue Bombers come into Vancouver and play the Lions.
This will be the last play of this football game. Once more, Paupau grounds it, and the BC Lions win in Edmonton for the first time in almost 5 years, and they win big, defeating the Edmonton Eskimos 43-13. A sweet one for head coach Don Matthews, and of course the rest of the Lions have been around for a while because they've had many heartbreaking losses to this Eskimo club.
Well, Dale, the ball game really was in the 15 minutes called the second quarter here this evening. 29 unanswered points by the Lions. They led the Eskimos 36-3 at halftime. Almost an unbelievable first 30 minutes of success against the 5-time defending Grey Cup champions. And you can see right now where the BC Lions stand in the Western Division of the CFL.
And they have won 4 in a row, and just as important, Frank, 3 of those 4 victories have been against Western Division clubs. They defeated Saskatchewan, Calgary, and now Edmonton. So really, as I mentioned at the outset, this is a measuring stick. If you can come into this ballpark and win up here, then people really sit up and take notice of your football club. Let's go to Al with the happy head coach.
Well, I'll tell you, he should be. Don Matthews coming back to a place that he coached for a long time and bringing a football team that was truly outstanding. Coach, both sides of the ball, you excelled tonight.
Well, I think the BC Lions have made great strides. I'm really just delighted with the attitude that the players have, and you know, and the coaches that I have working with me, a bunch of young, enthusiastic coaches. I'm just really delighted with everything so far.
Well, certainly congratulations to you and your staff. Very well-prepared team in as much as you worked on a short week. Your offense looked awfully sharp, and your defense, I couldn't get over the way you contained the Eskimos.
Well, the thing that I've always contended is that we've made some great strides on defense this year. I think that that's where our biggest improvement is. We have been lacking in offensive consistency, and that was certainly solved today. Certainly Roy DeWalt had a super game, throwing around to some great receivers that we have, and it was just a fun game.
Strange game, too. I've never seen the Eskimos take so many penalties, Coach.
Well, you know, they're a veteran team, and they'll certainly rebound from that, but it gets frustrating when you're on the bottom end of a couple of those scores, and they haven't been there very much, so they really don't know how to react.
I know you want to get in again with your players. Congratulations, Don. We'll see you next time around.
I'd like to say hi to my wife, Sherry, in Vancouver.
Okay, Coach. Good job.
Thank you, Al. Coming up next, the Carling O'Keefe Sports Game Stars. The final score, BC 43, Edmonton 13. CTV's Friday Night Football will continue in just a moment.
The BC Lions